All right, so we just finished a game where we covered this TRON player. When I started off the cast with a TRON player, I didn't know who TRON was. I didn't know what TRON would do. I said that TRON would likely go for the second town center and feudal age because that's something that the Cumans were known for. TRON, according to AW2.net, has been playing for the last 3 hours, and every time Arena comes up, plays with the Cumans. TRON went for a Siege Workshop Man-at-Arm masterpiece, not a disaster piece, in the previous game. And so now we're watching a live game, and I'm excited to see if we'll see the same thing. Will TRON have another idea in mind? Will TRON try and boom like I mentioned? Or will TRON stick to the same thing that worked in the previous game? If I was a betting man, I would say that TRON is going to do the exact same strategy as we just saw. So we've got TRON playing as the Cumans, and then in the blue, we've got, forgive me if this player ever rewatches this, I don't know how to say it, Janji? Janji? I think that's right. It's kind of like the player Ganji from Sweden, Janji. Janji CX007. I had to type it up here because CaptureH put the previous player's name up here. Janji's playing as the Aztecs. Aztecs are just as good, if not better, than the Cumans on Arena. Going into Eagles and Monks, very strong. It's a civilization that gets 33% more gold per relic. So on a map where the relics are all positioned towards the center, Aztecs become very, very dominant. But that would, of course, mean that Blue might think about going up to Castle Age. And in the previous game, Blue went to Castle Age, or the opponent went to Castle Age, and then got rammed down. So I don't know exactly what we're going to do with this player yet, this TRON player, but if you know me, I like unique strats. I like strats that work, but you don't see them all the time. And so far, TRON kind of fits what I look for Legends. But I'm not going to get... I don't want to freak anybody out here. I don't want to get too far ahead of myself. And it looked like a very satisfying strat to execute on, though, from my point of view. All right. Boar's coming in very quickly here from Janji. And Janji also trying to push in some deer, it looks like. So, interesting. Only thing I'd say is Janji's going to need a house here. Again, we're at 730 elo. I imagine some of the basics get forgotten. Okay. There's some more villagers on the way. Looks like Janji will likely get housed. In the previous game, TRON's opponent wasn't so strong with their economy. This time, I think that his opponent is much more capable, at least, when it comes to some of the things with the eco. But for TRON, it's the same build order as last time. I remember it was 4 on wood. I don't remember the exact timings on, the mill and the boar and whatnot, but it seems to be similar. And meanwhile, over here, Blue did forget that house. So, Blue's going to get Loom now, which you might as well, right? Your TC can't produce villagers, so you might as well research Loom at this time. Funnily enough, that's really going to help Blue later, but Blue doesn't know that. No, Akash, TRON did not do that in the previous game. Instead, what TRON did was TRON just went aggressive. Think about it this way, okay? So, the argument for going for the second town center with the Cumans is to have one more town center than your opponent, right? If you ram down their TC, their only town center, and you only have one TC, you still have one more town center than the opponent. It's the same thing, it's just a different way of doing it, guys. Okay, boar coming in. All right, that should be fine. Timing obviously not perfect. We are still going to see some struggles here. I forget if TRON tried to push in deer in the previous game. I feel like TRON did. Okay, boar's coming in. That's a perfect boar lure right underneath the TC. I love that. Okay, TRON, for all the amazing things that you do, can you explain why you place this lumber camp? It's up against the edge of the map. You've got a massive wood line here. You've got a... this one wouldn't make a ton of sense because you leave your villagers exposed. But I'm not the biggest fan of that lumber camp. It's not going to be the end of the world, but still. What's Blue up to? Blue, 19 villagers. So they both have 19 villagers. Blue scouting the middle. Honestly, feels like Blue might go feudal age here. This does not look like a fast castle build to me. And Blue is going to go feudal age. Okay, so if I had to guess the strategy, Blue is likely just going to get Feudal Age Eco upgrades and then eventually make it to Castle Age. I think something to focus on is if blue ever makes military or if blue scouts a villager going to the middle. I think it was 22 population last game from red. Red is now pushing in another deer. Nice job. And red is going to click up to Feudal Age. There we go. All right. So key moment could be the scouting because blue is out and about with the eagle. In Dark Age, the eagle will beat the scout. But in Feudal Age, the scout will beat the eagle. And there's the house. And there's one villager. So this is the same thing as last game. Dang, okay. Now, in this game, red remembered to go to gold a bit earlier. I remember that being an issue for red in the previous one. And we have a barracks now from blue. But blue has not gone to gold. Again, it just feels like blue is going to go for the wood upgrade, the farm upgrade, and just eventually make it to Castle Age. But having a barracks is nice because the opponent in the previous game did not have a barracks. Okay, eagle has actually attacked the scout. And that was actually 2 hits there. So now it would certainly get more awkward for red to be able to fight that off in Feudal Age. Ooh, is red going to bring the eagle to the villager and fight this back together? Ooh, I don't know if this is going to be good because now blue might make military. We'll see, though. Feudal Age is going to come in, so the eagle scout should go down for blue. And, okay. Let's see if blue reacts. Let's see if blue makes something. Like, at the very least, blue might make spearmen. And, okay, there's the barracks now. Let me just double check. Oh, the eagle saw the barracks foundation. Oh, this could ruin the whole strat. Oh, man, Tron, I can see what you were thinking. You're clearly just trying to do the same thing, but to build the barracks right next to the eagle before the eagle dies has given the opponent some crucial scouting info. Now, what's funny is, if the plan is Man-at-Arms is going to be really good against eagles. So, we'll see. Yeah, it looks like it's going to be Man-at-Arm upgrade and then 3 militia. Eagles also do take 60 seconds to produce. It takes a very long time to produce an eagle. Actually, it is faster with the Aztecs. I don't remember the exact time with the Aztecs. Okay. Remember last game, red didn't really look back here much. Red's not producing any more villagers. Red's just sitting here. Blacksmith is completed. More men-at-arms on the way. Red's scouting the walls, looking for an area to hit. And the siege workshop is now on the way. T90, as a 700 elo player, I can tell you that scouting your opponent's barracks means absolutely nothing. Okay, well, just let me act like it means something, okay? It's very possible that blue has not looked back there. Blue, you're right. Blue's probably like, oh, my eagle's dead. No reason to look to the middle. But if blue were to pay attention to the mini-map, there would be a little dot there. Okay, so there goes the eagle. I mean, it kind of looks like blue did notice that. I think. Maybe now blue will notice it. Okay, it'll be 3 eagles, but the men-at-arms are out. The rams are on the way. Red is doing some things back here, but red is not really producing many villagers. Like, red placed a couple farms, which is really good, transferring a few more villagers over to gold. If I recall in the previous game... Okay, never mind. There it is. Forging was on the way. I think it was like 13 man-at-arms before the attack in the previous one. But maybe you want to go in earlier if blue spots you. Yeah, blue goes right next to the barracks. I see the barracks and I'm like, oh, cute architecture. That's funny. But okay, like suddenly, I think blue's stressed out. Blue's like, oh god, I saw one of those chonky things. What do I do? Now, skirmisher is not the answer. I remember when I was a noob, and I would just think logically about it and say I'd rather be hit by an archer than a skirmisher. Like, this thing should do more damage, right? But in this game, it does not. Up against something like man-at-arms, you would want to go archers. But blue is on the way to Castle Age. So blue's going to have army, unlike the previous game. Blue's on the way to Castle Age. And red still needs time. Red doing the same thing as the previous game, dropping a market. I don't recall if Red really used the market. But this is not going to be a surprise this time around, so I'm getting excited. Why the blacksmith, though? I guess he doesn't want his screen to move around. Well, if you weren't here in the previous one, I mentioned why high-level players don't go for the Feudal Age Siege a lot. It's because you need to have a blacksmith before you can make a siege workshop. But the blacksmith is actually very much necessary. You wouldn't be able to make a siege workshop if the blacksmith's not already up. Also, Red's also getting blacksmith upgrades too, which is really nice. Now, the Eagle Scouts that are out here for blue, they get 7 base attack upon arriving to Castle Age. But 7 base attack is, I don't know if it's going to be that helpful off 3 units here. Blue's like, we've scouted him. We know what he's doing. Now what? Sees the Rams, and I could just sense that Blue is freaking out right now. And Blue's like, what do I do against this? And here comes TRON going right for the freaking gate. Should be able to take the gate out, no problem. Okay, here we go. No armor upgrade. That shouldn't make too much of a difference. And whoop! Pops right out of the Rams. Here come the Rams. Now, let's see. Red doesn't have scouting intel on what's in here. In the previous game, Red had a scout in there and could see where the TC was and everything. The Eagles now produce a lot faster for Blue, so Blue's going to start to try and take out the Rams. And this is a concern for you, Red. Red, you need to stay with those Rams, because if you don't have the Rams protected, you could lose the Rams and lose your man-at-arms in the process. Let's see. Okay, so the town bell's been rung. There's 15 villagers in there. The TC is actually attacking the Rams right now. So big attack coming. The men-at-arms are still in high enough number. And if this TC goes down, TRON can win another game like this. TRON has to be loving life. The TC is going to go down, guys. If the men-at-arms pull back here, they can kill these villagers. So yeah, another player makes it to Castle Age and then loses the TC to this rush. I think the Rams will go down, though. Blue is to make a decision on what to do next. The decision is to repair the archery range. Interesting. We'll see if the barracks ends up staying up. He's probably thinking, what do I make? Oh, yeah, T90 told me archers are really good here. So the panic is in, and the villagers are going to fight back. And Blue doesn't know this, but Blue, you actually have more villagers than the opponent right now. So you could actually still do this, but it's so annoying to have to click with villagers. And still, you could lose a barracks, too. Your eco-efficiency is way down. More men-at-arms are on the way from the barracks. And the attack continues, and that'll be villager number 6 that's been killed. It'll be villager number 7 in a second. Archer obviously barely helping, but it is something. It's villager number 11 that's gone down. Meanwhile, Red is not booming at home. Red's not really focused there, as far as I'm aware anyways. 10 minutes of TC idle time. But it's the same freaking strat, and the strategy is so good at this elo. This is amazing. 14 villagers killed now. Now, Blue might be a little tilted, as we say. Like, Blue might continue to play on. Blue's trying to micro the archers. Blue made a really big mistake by researching armor before attack. The attack would have helped the skirmishers and the archers, and armor doesn't really... It shouldn't be a go-to in these situations. Let's just put it that way. Blue's not ready to quit yet. Blue's going to drop the TC on this gold. However, will lose the archery range, and will lose the archer, and could lose all the houses, and, I mean, who knows? The sky's the limit from this point. Red, you know, you've done enough damage now. I know it's really fun to focus on the push, but the play probably should be to, okay. Probably should be to just, you know, look back at home for a bit, seed some farms, and then head up towards Castle Age. But man, this is cool. Also, there's been a man-at-arm inside this barracks the whole time. He's just sitting in there telling the other guys what to do. And yeah, okay, so TRON says, I've done enough damage. Let's just sell some resources, buy some resources. Let's go up to Castle Age. And boom, Castle Age. Now, that'll take some time, but we haven't seen TRON make it to Castle Age yet. So I'm curious if we're going to see more rams, because Cumans can actually research capped ram in the Castle Age. I mean, blue has quite a while to produce more villagers. Blue probably isn't going to lose this town center to just one ram and a couple of man-at-arms. Blue should probably make a siege workshop, make some scorpions, mangonels. But, I mean, blue's got wood, blue's got gold, blue's got some food. Thankfully has a lot of food in the bank. And is already in Castle Age. So, we'll see. But here we have TRON now, making more rams. Okay, the town bell was clicked. You guys know my opinion on town bell. I probably shouldn't have to repeat myself on this, but I will. When you're already behind, ringing the bell for situations like that, just... it doesn't help, right? These villagers, they don't want to be in here. They want to be working. The farms are being ransacked. As we've got a new archer range here. Oh, man, it's so smart from Red, though, to go for the blacksmith in the houses here. Your opponent already doesn't have upgrades, so they're going to have to make a new blacksmith. And they might not even remember. But Blue's thinking I have to make military, which is a good approach. Now, as much as the man-at-arm play into longsword could be exciting here, if you're really trying to make this strategy stronger, I feel like a good decision would probably be to go for knights. Human stables are only 100 wood, so you could just drop a couple stables and then go for knights, which are way stronger in these situations. But yeah, we'll see. Capped ram is on the way. Blue did research crossbow, and it's 26 villagers versus 30. This is still anyone's game. And Red is going for the attack and the armor for infantry, but doesn't have a ton of infantry right now. And Blue is still making crossbows. And Blue has been producing villagers most of the time when there's a TC up. Okay, if I have to listen to the bell one more time, I'm going to scream. Okay, capped ram is in. Longsword is on the way. This becomes increasingly difficult for Blue because Blue, you have to use the villagers to attack those rams. It's your only choice here. The TC will definitely not cut it. Blue is microing. And if only Blue would have some upgrades here, because the lack of upgrades is a concern. And you can see just how stressful a situation this is for Blue. And it's deja vu. It's deja blue. Still kind of, sort of going for the long swords. That's the important thing. Take out the long swords here. The rams will eventually go down to the villagers. And, Blue's trying. Okay, there's one longsword remaining. Let's see if the archer range stays up here. This is epic. This is an epic game. And, okay, the longsword's going to go down. And the ram's going to go down before the archery range goes down. And Blue's going to make more crossbows. It's honestly still winnable for Blue. You might think I'm crazy, because Blue has lost 18 villagers. But because Red wasn't producing villagers throughout that, it's winnable. Now, what Red should do is say, oh, look, I killed a bunch of villagers. Let's make more villagers at home, and then we have a massive lead. But Red's not exactly doing that yet. Blue is a stubborn low elo player. So many people out there would just be like, nope, I'm out. I'm going to go watch a T90 video and take a nap. Like, holy crap, man. And instantly queues up more villagers. Talk about determination. And speaking of determination, TRON is determined to win this game with longsword. Now, let's talk about armor. So these things are not known for their pierce armor, but they've got 3 pierce armor with full Castle Age upgrades, which really sucks because crossbows would have 5 plus 2 damage if they had their upgrade. So 7 damage against 3 pierce armor. 4 damage a hit is insane. But you're only working with the base attack right now if you're Blue. And so that is 5 damage, which means you're doing 2 damage a hit. So you need 30 crossbows to one-shot a longsword. Now, honestly, it's still not bad. Like, longswords are really slow. They also have lower base attack than a knight. So I really do think that Blue will clear up any type of attack that we see here. However, Red now has shifted focus. And Red is focusing on the economy. And this is how you can really snowball your way to victory. Blue is just doing all this to survive, right? This is not something that is allowing Blue to counterattack. That's what's so complicated on Arena against these strats. It's like they bust into your walls and you have all this army now and you want to go counterattack and they still have their own walls. You would need to make your own siege, probably. If I'm in Blue's position, I'm not expecting red to be dropping town centers. I'm expecting red... Is that auto scout, or is that... There's no way red's manually controlling that, right? Well, apparently not. Yeah, I'm expecting another attack. I'm expecting another wave. Okay, so there's villagers now. They're going to run to the middle and make the stables where the other base was. Blue re-walls this with palisades, which looks kind of funny. 33 villagers versus 43. Blue has a lot of crossbows. But red has a really good economy now. Like, the eco upgrades as well. Like, having handcart on the way. Adding more farms. The longswords, I guess, could be enough to just hold it off. I mean, if you're really worried about the crossbows at any point, you can also make siege. That's not a ram outside of the siege workshop. This is cool. This is really, really cool. Like, I do have videos with Cuman's ram rushing on Socotra. But honestly, it was just never something people were trying before TRON. I mean, I'm sure there are games out there that I've missed, and I'm sure there's a few people out there who are going to be like, come on, man, I've been doing this for 2 years, but the fact that TRON seemingly has been doing this for a few hours today, but plays other civilizations and tries different strats, tells me that TRON's the type of player I want to watch. I think TRON doesn't play the same civ all the time, but TRON will say, hey, today's my Cuman day. Today's my Korean day. I'm curious now. There's another game... another, like, streak of games with Koreans, and I want to know what Red was trying there. Like, Red probably looks at the tech tree, says, what are my bonuses, and what can I do to utilize my bonuses? And, you know, truthfully, it's not like every low elo player doesn't do that, but there are a lot of people out there who just kind of, like, they don't have a plan. They're just like, all right, we're chilling, and they're still at the same elo, too. New TC right now for Blue. I can't help but think what would happen if Red were to bring in Rams from here. And all those houses would go down. Oof. Blue is in this game, especially if you get relics with Aztecs, like I mentioned earlier. The score might not show that it's possible, but I still believe. And we do now have TRON on the way to the Imperial Age. Clicked up in this TC. Is also getting the relics right now. I'm not sure what the plan is in Imp. Because there's no bloodline upgrade. There's no armor upgrade for the knights at all. There is a concern that Red will just forget about some of these upgrades. Now, Red lost that scout, but something tells me Red just doesn't know how much army is here. Red is going to produce knights now. And you can tell Red's thinking about an attack. Red saw the palisades. Blue wants to drop some barracks over there eventually. Blue did just drop a blacksmith, which could lead to some upgrades, which will be crucial. Okay, armor's on the way now for Red. So that's good for the knights. A 22 on food. Still not producing knights nonstop. And has lost the Vil lead to Blue. Blue's got a lot of resources to use here. Now, if you're wondering what happened there with the Vil count, it's because while there was 2 TCs for both players, TRON was using the one for Imp, right? So that idles that TC the whole time. And Blue's been producing this whole time. Okay, Blue's getting fletching now. This should be an easy kill for an army with fletching. Like, longsword's not so good against archers. Knights still don't have full upgrades with armor. But could always get that, of course. Okay, here comes Red. You know Red wants the TC. TRON shows up for one thing and one thing only. Oh, he kills the deer. Savage. All right. Pikeman's on the way. Blue is the master of production, I have to say. If the buildings don't get rams down, Blue's a beast. Okay, now we've got the Cavalier upgrade on the way for Red. The thing that Blue really needs is more blacksmith upgrades. But getting pikemen in the mix combined with crossbows really good. Red is slowly working on getting the relics, which is great for late game. And blue still will have a lot of work to do to win this game because you do have to eventually take the full map again. But come on. This guy's amazing. I thought we were coming in here to talk about TRON, but I think both of these players are top tier. At least as far as low elo is concerned. There's a castle. Not an ideal castle, right? Like, ideally you're castling out here. We've got murder holes now for red, which doesn't actually benefit red in any way, shape, or form, but it is a tech that low elo players get to feel more comfortable. I like how red is building all the houses out here. It's just going to be so annoying for blue later on. It would be bad, of course, for red if red were to lose these. Okay, here comes red. Red says it's time to attack with my cavalier now. And red, I think, waiting for the ram, but now sees the castles up. Blue can kill that army. Blue can kill that army no problem right now. Now, it would be a problem if red mixed in siege. It would be a problem if red got more than just one armor upgrade. But yeah, what a game. 103 population versus 80 population. Red might be thinking, okay, my attack might not work here, so maybe we can win this late game. See, this is where you can start to place castles like along the front of your base just in case they attack you. Or on some of the extra golds. Oh, God. Okay, we're going to see a castle there. Well, that's not a bad castle spot, actually. If you're an imp and your opponent is not, being able to treb down their castle would be awesome. Problem is, blue is going to click to imp. Blue is going to click to imp. So, wait, where'd the resources go? Oh, the resources are there. I'm stupid. Yeah, if blue can click up to imp here, they could both be making trebuchets. But the timing is critical here, and there's imp. It does feel to me like Tron's castle is going to be up, making trebuchets before blue is able to do so. It's really tricky in someone like blue's position to be able to recognize all the things I mentioned, by the way, on like, you can fight this army, he doesn't have upgrades. I think it's very rare for this elo to ever click enemy units and see what upgrades they have. That's got to be more of a mid-elo thing. So 66 villagers versus 68. It's very close. I have a castle here for Tron. Tron's also getting Paladin now. And Paladin, I mean, there's a big change between Cavalier and Paladin. You get plus, what is it, 60? No, it's plus 40 HP. He's missing Bloodline. So, plus 40 HP. Then you go from 12 base attack to 14. All that tankiness could be awesome. Well, chemistry's on the way. Blast furnace is on the way. Treb is not on the way. And blue says, I want to wall this. Blue actually didn't know about the castle until just then. So, if you're blue, you should be thinking blacksmith upgrades, which blue is doing. More pikemen, more crossbows is fine. And then obviously trebuchets. Red is now making trebuchets. We've got 4 relics for red. There's one more out here. I think red's going to get that. Again, Cuman stables are only 100 wood. So it should be possible for red to make more than just 2 stables. I think blue sees that treb and doesn't want to allow it to take out the castle. But I'm not sure if you want to sacrifice your whole army to take out the treb. Okay, blue says, I need a trebuchet, right? Trebuchet. You do not get the halberdier upgrade with the Aztecs, which is sad, but you do get the arbalest upgrade. And there's the trebuchet. Okay. And red makes 2 trebuchets. Is going to go for conscription. And is then going to queue up a bunch of kip checks. Which could be logical. If you're up against a lot of pikemen, you might want some range. But, you know, you're not really taking advantage of that faster Imperial Age. And it is going to give blue an opportunity here. Blue queuing out of 3 barracks. Always queuing out of the 1 range. Red going for a lot of late game things here, I think. Castles on golds and relics. Oh, man. Can you imagine if blue somehow pushes this back? This is an epic game, man. This is epic. 735 elo up at 150 pop after all of this is wild to me. Okay, red getting crop rotation, so expecting this game to go on for a long time. Those farms are going to reseed soon, and we'll have a lot more food on them. Okay, we got fletching now for red, and archer armor, and then the cav armor. So that'll take time. Red does not see blue's army. Blue does not see red's army. But blue is waiting for a few trebuchets here, and this is what I always suggest, right? Wait for 3 or 4 trebuchets and then go for it. And then oftentimes what they'll do is they'll panic and they'll send in everything after your trebs. They might lose their army and their castle then. I think the issue for blue is blue doesn't actually have the wood to make the next trebuchet right now. But man, you've got to be looking for upgrades here. Blue's going to go for armor and then attack. This is Castle Age armor and Castle Age attack for this. And here it goes. So let's see. What does red do? Surprise, surprise. Red goes in after the trebs. Red says we can't have that and sends in everything. Now, it's very possible the trebs go down, but how much will red lose in the process as red clicks the paladins through? The castle might also still fall here. And this is an amazing fight for blue, who's bringing this game back. The castle goes down. All of Tron's army goes down. It's also very possible that the trebuchets will go down for Tron. And Tron is in full panic mode right now. We've got more paladins on the way. The trebuchet is going to fall. The castle stays up for blue. Massive score switch. And now blue's got Arbalest. Bodkinair obviously has come in, which will help. And this could still be possible for the Aztec player. What a game. What a game. Now, let's see if red recognizes there's some other options here, right? Like, I think if you've got a big clump of archer infantry, you could also consider a siege. Onager would be really smart in these situations. I think, like, from what we saw with red in the earlier stages of this game as well, red's a very tunnel vision player. And so red's probably just staring at this part of the screen, and it's not able to think about falling back with new buildings or thinking about a tech switch at all. But I could be wrong. Blue lost 2 town centers. Lost the TC at the start of Castle Age and middle of Castle Age. Like, blue played a large portion of the Castle Age without freaking town centers. And blue's back. Blue's in this. Now, blue does not have any relics. Blue cannot take this gold. Blue's not taking any of the extra gold. So red's resources is going to be crazy if we look at this. Let's actually look now. Yeah, I mean, red's ahead in every single category. But blue has a lot of production. Done a very good job there. I'm pumped right now. I am absolutely pumped. There's still enough gold to be able to mass an army that can win you the game. But we're getting more and more upgrades from red. Not having plate barding armor was a big deal. The fact that that's on the way now, ballistics is on the way now, Bodkinair was on the way now, this is all very good for red. In red's attempts to win this still. So blue's done what I would consider to be a better job at spending resources. Also, I love how this villager here is hammering the front door. It's like bam, 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 bam. But yeah, like, we've only experienced blue as a player inside of their own base, right? Like, we have not seen what blue can do in the middle of the map this entire game. Also, heated shot on the way, one of the most confusing upgrades for players. That does absolutely nothing for you here. That increases your towers and TC attack against ships. We've got masonry now, which gives you more HP on buildings. That's obviously huge. We've got a big farming eco being expanded over here from red. I love to see that. I mean, again, if red just went, like, honestly, full paladin could do it for red. I know there's a lot of pikes out there, but with the resources red will have, I think red could, with more stables, just win the game with paladins. And again, blue could make a lot more pikes. I mean, the potential's there for everybody. And upgrades are still missing for blue. Blue doesn't have a single armor upgrade for the infantry here. It doesn't have bracer either for the arbs or ballistics or chemistry. But it's a really good composition. You've got the pikemen on the front. You got the Arbalest behind. As you can see, though, the pikemen have withered away. The Kip checks are also very helpful there. With ballistics, too. Like, I could see what red was thinking earlier. Now blue has to back up, but blue is going to make more pikes. Red runs in with the paladins, though, and man, is paladin strong. Paladin is such a good unit. And obviously, red's got the gold, right? Blue rings the town bell. It's been a long time since we've seen blue do that. But we know blue did that earlier in the game, and blue doing that now will idle the majority of the economy here. The trebuchets go down, so it's not easy for blue to push back now. And yes, red will lose a lot of paladins, but red can always make more paladins, and red killed a lot of these Arbalest here. Wow, what a hold, right? It looked like TRON was maybe going to lose this game. We weren't sure how TRON would be able to play if the Ram Rush didn't just win the game instantly. And we've got 18 more paladins on the way for TRON. Still doesn't really like the idea of making more stables. And blue now is thinking, well, what else can I do? Because the pikemen aren't working. And that is sadly not leading blue to the right conclusions here. Because blue's going to try and make Eagle Warriors. They're very good against some archer units. But pikemen Arbalest is actually very good composition. It's just you need more and you need upgrades. Now, red does not have to push, right? Red is very much in a situation of hold. And then your opponent's starved forever. So, you know, the longer this takes, the better it is probably for red, because red does have the paladins in queue, and it's just going to take a while of 2 stables. Makes me so sad to see blue spending all this gold on eagles. But again, we're at an elo where these players probably don't fully understand all the units they're fighting with. I mean, blue should be scared of mining the gold outside the walls, right? Like, blue has been inside of this base the whole game. Blue doesn't even know about these other golds out here, and I'm sure if blue were to go out to them, red would kill those villagers. We've got even another castle, and hey, there we go, TRON. There we go. More stables. That probably will mean the end of the game at some point. Yeah, so Aztecs do not get Halberdier. But they get pikemen that can get +8 attack after their unique tech. So, if you get all your upgrades, pikemen with Aztecs is very strong. But I mean, we don't even have the feudal age armor yet. And these are fully upgraded paladins. So, it's, at least chemistry's now in. Like, that's really good. Chemistry ballistic. So, this shows you that Janji kind of knows what those techs do and just probably forgot about it. Yeah, we've got elite Kip checks on the way, too. Great upgrades from red. I think red has pretty much gone to the blacksmith and just said, do I have everything? Obviously doesn't quite have everything, but isn't making infantry anymore, so that's not important. I think blue, after taking out this castle, needed to have the snowball push to starting. And blue just took a little bit too much time. But again, it's like, you know, when the castle's here, it's easy to have the confidence to move out. But do you have what it takes to move out across the map into the darkness when your opponent has had full map control? That's a completely different story. That's true. Red kind of researched everything in the university. Well, that's not necessarily fair. I mean, there was a tech or two that maybe didn't make sense at the time, but it seemed like most of those techs were relevant. But yeah, now there's 35 more paladins in queue. Look at Red's vision, man. Red can see the whole map with these houses. Blue's probably going to have one more go at this. Blue's going to leave the base with the eagles because blue can see the stone miners out here. And those stone miners are going to go down. And blue now says, oh, I forgot there was stone out there. Let's take that, actually. I wonder if red knows that elite eagle's a thing. Because this is a castle age eagle. It's possible red wasn't aware of that. Okay, blue will get a little bit of stone. Red really needs a couple houses here. Also love how red is healed up here. TRON is such a fun player to watch, man. Like, I feel like the way TRON plays the game is how most people should aspire to play the game. Playing towards your Civ strengths. And then, I mean, also really solid outlook on how to play the late game too. Like getting the relics and getting the extra golds and having vision. Oh yeah, that's true. Red doesn't have bloodlines, so they're not fully upgraded, I guess. Yeah, now blue's likely going to have to go in and try and take out that Treb. And I just do not see that being possible. I know bloodlines isn't in, like we said, but bloodlines is not as... Well, I mean, it's hugely important, don't get me wrong, but all the other upgrades being in means that not having bloodlines is fine. Look at the HP on the armies here. That tells you everything. And of course, with bloodlines, there'd be a lot more for red. For the Kip checks and also the paladins. But it will not matter. TRON went up against an opponent, which was incredible. I would have expected blue to have resigned an hour ago. But blue held on. Unfortunately, not going to be enough to win because TRON's strategy is genuinely awesome. And that castle will fall. The next castle will fall as well. The first time we saw TRON, his opponent said GG. And blue says... I don't know exactly what that is. That's a new one. I haven't seen that. Oh, come on, Blue. Tell me you said something else. Okay, what do we have here? The push surprised. Yeah, I like it. That is Blue saying, wow, I did not expect that. I did not expect that strategy. I've not seen that strategy before. TRON's got to be living the dream right now. Like, this is 2 straight games that have made me very jealous of this person that I don't know. I'm like, I wish I was 700 elo. I wish I was living TRON's life right now. These games are awesome. Of course, I did just reference, for those of you on YouTube, I referenced another game. We'll try and make sure that that is linked in the description if you didn't see the original one. But that it was a wonderful Age of Empires 2 game. And again, I'm just loving the fact that we're seeing this siege utilized. And sure, the balance isn't perfect because these guys are not pro players, but the idea is there. The execution is there. And after the initial ram rush, TRON was able to get the economy rolling as well. That said, I thought blue played extraordinarily well. I thought blue was dead after the first town center went down, and then the second town center went down. Like, how you have the confidence to continue to play. Did, unfortunately, in the end, lack map control. 76,000 resources collected by TRON, 60,000 resources collected by Janji there. And then the KD tells the whole story. That's just Paladin versus Pikes with no upgrades, basically. Like, the thing about Pikeman is it doesn't cost gold, right? So it's cost effective in the long run, but you do still need a lot of them with upgrades. And like, Red had full map control, full vision on the map. Anytime his opponent would leave, Red would see it. And didn't have the final relic, which was a little sad for me. I always like to see the number 5 on there, but still a 47-7 eco KD in that game. 258 units killed and 124 units lost. And I'm not done with TRON. Like, I'm going to follow this player. I'm now very curious on if this player is doing other strategic masterpieces with different civs, because TRON doesn't always play with the Cumans. Guess we'll find out soon.